Did you hear the news? Metro PCS is now Metro by T-Mobile. Now you get new plans with unlimited high-speed data all month long, all on the T-Mobile network. Check out the new Metro by T-Mobile today and discover the smarter way to get unlimited. Metro by T-Mobile. That's genius. During congestion, the fraction of customers using greater than 35 gigs per month may notice reduced speeds, and Metro customers may notice reduced speeds versus some T-Mobile customers. Video streams at 480p. Coverage not available in some areas. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Welcome to the Enhancement Talent Podcast.
Any man with two hands has a fighting chance.
You're only half the man that I am, and I have half the brain that you do.
What?
You are a sniveling little suck-up sellout full of suffering succotash, son.
What?
I'm not ready for you.
Give me a hell yeah.
We are back and better than ever. Welcome to the Enhancement Talent Podcast. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, we greatly appreciate you stopping by. I am your host, Brock Fluker, and I am joined by Chris Kirby.
The unprofessional.
Indeed. So we're going to do a little bit of a different sort of show today. We're going to talk about a few different things before we get into the Raw and SmackDown reviews. We had a rare Undertaker out-of-character interview over the last, I guess it would have been about a week and a half now. So the last time I can even recall Undertaker doing an out-of-character interview was way back in 2002. So this was definitely a long time waiting. He was interviewed by Pastor Ed Young, who I'm sure nobody had heard of prior to this.
Nope.
And I'm sure he's a great pastor. Wasn't the best interviewer.
Maybe he's the chaplain for WWE.
But Undertaker did get into some interesting stuff, I thought, and the thing that really got the most attention and the most headlines was what he said about young wrestlers today. And he said I'm a firm believer in less is more, especially when it comes to his character, and that athletes are better than ever now. But wrestling hasn't ever been about the moves. It's been it's about being able to evoke emotion in one facet or another, whether it be getting people to love you or hate you. That's what it's all about. And the moves are something that is used to help the story, but it's more about character and that sort of character development over time that is what's going to keep people. And I definitely couldn't agree with him anymore in that characters have always been the driving force behind wrestling. You can go back as far as you want. It's never entirely been about the moves that are done or the matches that are had as much as it's about building a story. And then when you get to that match, when it plays into the story, that's what gives you those great matches is the story going into it. Your Hogan versus Savage and things like that. The Mega Powers exploding when they told a year-long story between those two before they finally had the match. And at that point, it didn't matter what moves they did because everyone was already hooked.
Yeah, the story was there.
Yeah, exactly. And I definitely do agree with Undertaker in that it's something missing today is just that, and I don't blame it entirely on the guys as much as you can blame it on not good enough writing or booking, because these guys are talented enough to be able to be put in those spots, but they don't always necessarily have the same sort of stuff to work with that Hogan and Savage did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, some people obviously would disagree with that and just say that Undertaker is old man, get off my lawn and all that. But
Well, he is.
I think he was right on the money here. What did you think about that overall part, Chris?
I mean, a lot of truth. I mean, if you've been watching wrestling long enough, like we have, I mean, you can compare the stories from just 15 years ago to now, let alone 20 or 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's just copy and paste
Mhm.
with everything.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Same moves, same matches, no story.
Yep. And that's definitely a big hindrance in that is that copy and paste sort of mentality that you mentioned that they do with a lot of stuff, and like with just most of the time, most storylines just involve the title, and that's pretty much it.
Nowadays, yeah.
And there's so many titles that there's no room for anything else practically.
But the stories pretty much are crap.
Yeah.
Now, I enjoyed the Styles and Joe
Mhm.
storyline. But other than that, though, lately it's all been crap.
Yeah, I mean, I've liked the Shield with Dean Ambrose stuff too.
Yeah,
And-
it kind of keeps you on, well, where's he going to go? What's he going to do?
And it's funny, the probably the one that they're doing the best job on is the Undertaker Kane versus Shawn Michaels and Triple H, which we'll get into on our Raw review, but that's something that, it has that old school sort of storytelling.
Well, that's because it's old people.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's largely because it's Triple H, and if you follow NXT, I guess he's even in charge of 205 Live now, but if you watch NXT, you see that sort of old school mentality that Triple H uses when he's booking his show.
Yeah, I've actually seen a couple NXTs, and if you watch one and then compare it to Raw or SmackDown, you'll see the difference.
Yeah, it's all about wrestling and building characters in NXT, and I find it a lot more interesting to have that sort of environment. And obviously, WWE today is catered to a different audience than it probably was in different times.
Now it's a family audience instead of the 20 to 50-year-old men.
Yeah, and I think their bulk audience though is still in that like 18 to 30s range.
Yeah.
But I think they focus the most on where they can make their money off of, obviously, which is mostly going to be kids and their parents and things like that.
Yeah.
I think. But just an interesting interview with Undertaker. He talked about a few different things, including Andre the Giant supposedly having an idea for them to have a match, but he never got to find out what Andre's idea was before Andre passed. At that point, it was in the 90s, and Andre was already in bad health anyway, so I don't think that it would have ever happened regardless. But,
it'd be nice to know what it was, so, if you have 2K19 or something, you can do a fantasy match.
Yeah, and it was Andre just didn't want to tell him because he didn't want anyone else to end up taking his idea. And as the result of that, Undertaker never got to find out what it was, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Taker did also confirm that he's had some form of hip replacement surgery on both hips. We heard the reports, I don't know if it was probably like a year ago-ish, where it said that he had a hip replacement surgery. I'm assuming that because he classified it as some form of hip replacement, that it was some sort of partial surgery, and he'll eventually get the full thing after he retires, which will be never.
Yeah. He'll have a casket match at his funeral.
He's got a. That'd be such a Taker thing to do.
It would.
I gotta put someone over on the way out.
Yeah.
That'd be so perfect, actually. That's pretty much all I have to talk about, though, on the Undertaker interview. It's a good 37-minute interview. I found it interesting. It would have been more interesting if it was someone like Stone Cold or Chris Jericho doing the interview instead of Pastor Ed Young. But hopefully there is another Undertaker shoot interview sometime soon, because the amount of stories this man must have to tell is insane.
I'm waiting for his book. Well, his first one.
Oh, if he ever writes a book, that'd be awesome.
Could you imagine just a book about his take on his matches?
Mm-hmm. About everything.
And yeah, everything. Oh my God.
It's funny, I was listening to Chris Jericho's podcast at some point. He mentioned how he asked Vince if he was ever going to write a book, and Vince was just like, "No, God damn it, why would I write a book?" And Jericho was just like, "That could be the greatest book in the history of books," and he doesn't want to do it.
And that'd be the title of the book. Why would I want to write a book?
Why would I want to write a book?
Yeah.
Yeah. Vince and Taker would obviously have a ton of stories to tell.
Oh, God, yeah. Especially Taker. All the hundreds of different people he's wrestled.
Yeah. And there's been so many different stories about The Undertaker throughout the years, like Wrestler's Court and all that.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be... And threatening Shawn Michaels when he didn't want to do the job to Bret Hart, I believe it was. But I'm sure he would have so much to get into. That could be like a 10-hour long interview.
They might as well make like a weekly show on the network. Just a weekly interview with the Taker.
So we're going to get into something else here. It's something I didn't even really want to talk about on the podcast, but
apparently we're going to anyway.
It's something that I do want to briefly touch on, is that Crown Jewel, the pay-per-view emanating in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, is in a bit of hot water over the recent events in Saudi Arabia, which was essentially a Saudi Arabian journalist and I believe he's a columnist for the Washington Times, disappeared after visiting the Saudi consulate in Turkey, and a huge story erupted from there that claimed that the Saudi Arabian government orchestrated the visit in order to assassinate him, and just crazy stuff there, and it's put attention on this Crown Jewel pay-per-view because it's getting a lot of press in the media, obviously, after all this happened. And I believe President Trump even issued a statement about there could be consequences after when they finally get the full story, which is one of the big things, is that a lot of it is sort of in this conjecture stage where nobody knows anything for sure, but this is allegedly what happened, and they don't have a lot of details about it. And, eventually some politicians started looking into the fact that WWE is doing this deal with Saudi Arabia, and I think even pointing the finger at Linda McMahon a little bit, who's in Donald Trump's presidential cabinet.
Yeah.
And it's interesting what can be done here, because WWE, of course, already signed the 10-year contract with Saudi Arabia's sports and athletic community, or whatever it is. But I'm curious what they do from here, because even if we do get this show, which I assume is probably still the likely thing, I don't know how that relationship goes on going forward, especially being that even before this happens, there were plenty of people that were not fans of this. And
I'm not.
Yeah, and it's not even something that should have come out of the blue. It's not like WWE was blindsided by this, saying, "Oh my God, people are in an outrage.
Yeah.
Where did this come from?" No, you had to have known that was something that could have happened as soon as you signed this deal, and you can't even have the women take part in it.
And that's why I don't like it. It's all men, which in this day and age, come on.
Yeah,
If that's their beliefs, more power to them. That don't mean we have to be a part of it.
yeah, exactly. And when they did the Greatest Royal Rumble in Jeddah, they constantly promoted the progressive city of Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, and they were selling it as a vacation destination,
Yeah.
practically. And it's just so weird that they have this on the heels of what they're gonna do, their first all women's pay-per-view.
I think that's why they're doing it.
Yeah.
To make up for the all men's pay-per-views.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah.
Why? Otherwise, why now?
Yeah. I mean, that's a fair point.
There's been so many other times we could have done it, and it'd make more sense.
And I get the business, and I get that they are offering WWE such a ridiculous amount of money, and we don't have a true figure, I don't think, but it was reported to be somewhere in like the $400 million range over 10 years, which is insane. And if you're working for that company, of course, if they're able to make more money, that's hopefully going to mean you're going to get paid more for making those trips out there. And unfortunately, I don't know what they do with the women in that scenario. If they give them some sort of bonus, if they give them a payday, even if they're not allowed out there.
They give them a week off to go clean the house.
Yeah, and just stay in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant and all that.
Well, they ain't gotta be pregnant, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that took a turn. But I'm definitely of the opinion that, it should, if WWE really dug their heels in the ground and said, like, if we're pushing you as this progressive country, so we'll do the deal, but you got to let our woman come over there, and we'll respect your customs. We'll have them dressed the way they need to be to.
Well, it's just like they did that one match with Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, the Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks in God, where was it?
Was it Iraq?
Was it Shanghai?
No, it wasn't Shanghai.
It was.
It was the Middle East somewhere.
I can't. Okay, I had to Google for a minute. It was in Dubai. And it was the first time that WWE had ever had a women's match there. It wasn't the first time ever, though, because Impact did have a women's wrestling match in Dubai.
Before WWE?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Apparently so.
How could they afford to make it that far?
Well, that's why they kind of went bankrupt.
Oh, okay.
And had to sell and all that. But no, I'm just kidding. But seriously, just when it comes to the pay-per-view and what they're gonna do for this show, I'm assuming it will just go on. But I mean, there's still a few weeks in between there, and if more details start coming out and WWE starts getting in more hot water, if there's one thing WWE loves, it's PR.
Good or bad.
And I think now they really love having just good PR, and they don't want bad PR because they care a lot about stock prices right now. And, recently their stock prices were at an all-time high before about a week ago. It took a very huge dip, and apparently they lost over $1 billion in stock shares, which I'm not sure if that's a direct impact of any of this stuff, or if it was just more so that their stock was so high that eventually it did have to come back down.
I blame creative. It's their fault.
I could blame creative for anything, but
And it works.
do you have anything else to say about this Saudi Arabia show, Chris?
Not concerning we're trying to keep it at least PG-13.
Well, we don't want to offend anyone either.
No, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I just don't agree with it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you happen to listen to the show from Saudi Arabia, then we're
Change the channel.
we have no disrespect or ill will towards anyone.
No, just we have a way that we do things with our wrestling. And telling us, yeah, we want you to come over here for the next 10 years, and we're going to give you hundreds of millions of dollars, but don't bring your women. It's a big slap in the face.
Yeah, it's a slap in the face to that whole movement and them trying to promote women's equality.
Especially with everything going on in our country right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. So, we're going to move away from the nonsense there that probably still pissed someone off, but hopefully not. We're going to go right into the Raw review. So, I hardly remember the show because we're recording on Sunday.
Yeah, it's been like a week now.
Yeah, so I'm sure I'll have this out at some point today, hopefully, while I'm watching a Steeler game.
Lose. They're going to lose.
Chris doesn't even follow football.
I do too. I follow the Bears. That's why I know my team always loses.
Anyway, we had Raw. That was a thing that happened like a week ago. It kicked off with Triple H coming out to the King of Kings. And he would stop at the apron looking incredibly pissed off. And Shawn Michaels would make his entrance
Why do you
after
look so
that.
pissed off?
Because
I mean, who pissed in his Cheerios?
Because he's still upset about Undertaker and Kane attacking them after the match.
Oh my god! You know, if
Get over
us
it, right?
as the audience is expected to move on, why can't they?
That's a true story. So, as much as I don't like the general idea of this match, this promo and the whole thing has been a very well told story.
Now, who could have seen DX returning? Really?
I mean, until that story came out when Meltzer reported it, I don't think many people did, and I don't think many people would have wanted it, really.
So is this going to go down as the last time ever part 2?
I guess so.
Or 2.5?
It's the sequel. I heard it's part of a trilogy, actually.
I mean, that's like, the music group Kiss. They have a farewell tour every other year for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what Taker and Triple H is doing. Just every couple of years, they'll think you forget, and they'll do another last time ever.
Good stuff.
And 10 years from now, they'll have a retirement match at a retirement center.
All right, so Taker and Shawn get into their promo here. Corey Graves used the word betrayal a lot as far as what happened with Taker and Triple H and all that in the Super Showdown 2 nights earlier. And it's weird that they use the word betrayal when, they weren't really together to begin with.
True.
But Triple H said that it took 25 years to get to the top of the mountain. The mountain being beating The Undertaker, I guess. And the avalanche afterward makes him wonder if that mountain was just a lie this whole time. And we got a video package that recapped the match. And Triple H went on and on about respect until Shawn Michaels came into the promo. And, this was the part that I did really like, and that it told a story that they built to earlier when Shawn Michaels first came back for that promo. And he said, I've stayed retired out of respect for The Undertaker. And Shawn says now that, that respect seems like it never existed at all.
He can say what he wants. I hate this.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that he's going to wrestle again.
I do too.
I was okay with him getting involved in the match at Super Showdown, but to actually officially be on the card wrestling, I don't like it.
I don't like it either, but I'm gonna try to let it go because I do want to be able to enjoy Shawn Michaels matches and whatever he's gonna do in this run. So I'm gonna try not to be overly bitter about what I want and just try to be positive, I mostly took away positive from this segment because it was a very good promo and it really somehow did make me want to see this match between them.
I want to see it. I want to see The Undertaker put him out for good. I want him to keep his word, and that's it. I want somebody to keep their word when it comes to retirement.
Yeah. But the way they portrayed this is that it gave Michaels a legitimate reason to come out of retirement because, he said from the beginning that he stayed retired out of respect for The Undertaker. And when Triple H and Shawn finally get a win over this guy, he's a poor sports and attacks them after the match.
Now,
and then that's where he's just like, there was never any respect to begin with. So that gives him the somewhat legitimate reason to be able to come out of retirement.
No, I mean, if you think back to the Super Showdown, if he had respect for The Undertaker, why did he get involved in the match?
Well,
he's the reason that Kane had to be out there.
Yeah, I've thought about that too. And the thing I give that is that it was a war that was fought in more than just the inside of the ring. Is that, Taker, Triple H used his power as COO to be able to make it a no disqualification match. And it's not like it wasn't an even fight. Kane was out there. Shawn was out there.
It wasn't an even fight, though. Kane was on the ground the whole time.
Yeah, but they took him out. It was still 2-on-2.
I still would have liked to see an actual one-on-one match. How can you say it's the last time ever when you've got outside interference all the time?
I think the problem with that, though, is that
I'm overthinking it.
If this match didn't have the smoke and mirrors and the Shawn Michaels and the Kane interference, I'm not sure how good it would have been with just Taker and Triple H wrestling.
Hey, if I can watch the Cena-Taker match, I can watch anything.
Or you could go back and watch Cena versus Rock Part 2 at WrestleMania.
True.
Because, it probably wouldn't have been worse than that.
Very true, very true. I love the story they're telling with it. I don't agree. I just don't like the fact of how they're doing it.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. I agree with that. I didn't want to see Shawn come out of retirement. But, try to move on with it and just see where it goes.
Don't get me wrong. I'm going to enjoy the hell out of watching it.
Yeah.
I just don't like how he's doing it. That's
all.
I'm
sure he's going to have some fun matches.
This is probably going to be a one-off.
No, I think he's going to have more of a full last run because apparently he's supposed to have a one-on-one match with Taker after this.
What, WrestleMania, right?
No, Meltzer reported that it'll be sometime before WrestleMania, either Royal Rumble or Survivor Series. So maybe he could have a match at WrestleMania against someone younger. Hopefully.
I want to see... Undertaker's almost done. He's only got a select few WrestleManias left.
Yeah, you say that. He'll be out there 10 years from now, and we'll still be talking about this.
Well, to make it look good, he's only got a few left.
Yeah.
I want to see some big name marquee matches with him.
With Undertaker?
Yeah. I don't bring back a legend for a one match. I don't care. Give it to Sting. Sting wants it. Let him sign a waiver so he doesn't sue.
I remember they discussed possibly doing Undertaker versus Goldberg at some point in the past.
And I could handle that. Just because I like both of them.
I'm sure Goldberg still has another run in him, I think.
I do too, but he's in better shape than Taker, though.
Yeah.
He's actually kept up in the gym.
Yeah, and I think with Goldberg, they, especially in that Lesnar series, they sort of protected him with how short the matches were.
Yes.
But that gave us one of my favorite WrestleMania matches ever with him and Lesnar at 33, I think it was, because it was just 5.5 minutes, but they just went right after each other. It was big move, big move, big move, big move, big move, big move, finish.
Yeah.
Which was fun.
Now, I don't mind short matches if it's nonstop like that.
Yeah.
Make it interesting, make it loud, make it big.
Yeah, so we'll see where this goes with DX and the Brothers of Destruction as Triple H ended the promo by saying one last time, I guess, "Are you ready?"
Oh boy, another one last time ever.
Well, they didn't actually say that. I think I just kind of filled that in, but
still sounded good.
It's funny though how people, Bruce Pritchard in particular, I'm saying, question the validity of Dave Meltzer's reports all the time, and people just say, "Oh, well, he just makes up stories."
Well, he's damn good then.
He had this reported months ago that this match was going to happen.
Meltzer is like the god of the rumor mill for wrestling.
Yeah.
He must work. I think he works for WWE.
Well, he has sources within the company.
I think he works for him.
He did work for WWE at one point several years ago, probably in like the 80s.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's still getting a check from him.
Yeah, I don't.
Because all of his rumors come true. How can you do that?
I'm not sure if they want that to happen.
But I mean, it does happen.
Yeah.
I mean, 99% of what Meltzer says comes true.
Yeah, and there's things that he reports that don't ultimately happen, but
not right then, but in 6 months from then.
And it's always possible that plans change too.
Well, yeah, people get hurt or something like that.
Or Vince changes his mind, which he does on a hourly basis.
Okay, hourly, yeah.
But it felt like several months ago that this match was pegged to happen, and here it is, the official challenge made out from DX to the Brothers of Destruction for that illustrious Saudi Arabia payday.
And why would you do it in Saudi Arabia? Why would you not do something like that with DX and Brothers of Destruction in the U.S. where they're most popular?
Because you see, the thing is that I don't know if you read the stories about the last time that they were in Saudi Arabia, but apparently the Crown Prince is like a big fan of 90s WWE.
Oh yeah.
So, and he was asking for guys. He wouldn't ask for them by name, but he asked for people like Yokozuna, who's dead. And I remember he asked for the guy with the hat and the crown to be on commentary. Like several things like that.
Well, come on now, if you're a true fan, you're gonna know their names.
Yeah,
I don't care what country you're from.
So, I'm gonna get into this more with the World Cup that we're gonna get into, which is straight out of 2002.
Yeah.
Well, I guess 2005 might be a more realistic thing.
Come on now, it's WWE that's reduce, reuse, recycle.
And repeats.
And repeats.
And repeats. That's something else, is that the nostalgia acts, they're going to run out of them eventually.
They're running out. I mean,
there aren't many left.
You've got, what? Triple H, Michaels, Taker, Kane, of course. Cena, if you want to consider him a nostalgia act.
Yeah.
But a lot of people won't.
And possibly Batista coming in here soon.
Yeah, but he's not going to make a comeback.
Yeah, well, he might.
I don't see it. He's got too much stuff going on the movie side.
We'll see. He's always said that he wants to have one more run.
But look what happened last time he came back. He was here for like a minute. Because nobody wanted him here.
Well, I think it was just a situation of bad timing with Batista and a bad role in that
That could be.
they kicked him off right away as a babyface when everybody wanted to cheer Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
And then he took the spot that everybody wanted Daniel Bryan to have when he won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, very true, very true.
So I think a lot of that is that stigma from that, but so much time has passed since then, and Batista has become such a bigger star since then.
On the screen, not on wrestling.
Yeah, but it carries over.
No, it does. It does. But I
And-
just wanted to clarify that for the people listening.
Yeah, and it could draw a different audience too.
More power to them. I mean, bring them on. Let's see what goes. I'm behind it.
But that took away from the original point I had.
Yeah,
Is that
the nostalgiacs?
Is that we as much as I did enjoy the match, we had Undertaker and Triple H main eventing this pay-per-view instead of AJ Styles and Samoa Joe or something like that.
Since when does a title match not headline a pay-per-view?
Yeah, and, it would have been like if they had in the Attitude Era if Bob Backlund was main eventing pay-per-views.
Well, his main event would be like
Against,
8
like-
seconds, like his title reign.
Or like Bruno Sammartino was main eventing in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's just crazy that they're not there. There's a place for these acts. There's a place for the Undertaker and Triple H, but it shouldn't be against each other
It's in a museum.
at the top of the card. I think that it should be more of that they're using them to help get other people over, to get people that you have to build around going forward to be more over.
I just think the match should have been earlier.
Yeah,
It's a nostalgia act. Everybody loves it if they're true fans. Why not put it in the middle to keep the audience entertained and still into the event that's going on? Because, look how that place erupted with that match.
Yeah.
I mean, I erupted when I saw it just because I love it.
Yeah, it looked like it would have been very fun to watch live.
But if you think about it, we've got less than 10 nostalgia acts, and we're seeing 4 of them at one time.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like that match as much as we did.
A lot of people aren't fans like we are either.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's plenty of longtime fans that didn't like it either. And I understand why, in that it's hard to, like we just said, the negatives of it. It's easy to just look at that stuff and how slow the match was, and it
But
was.
I liked that.
Yeah, and I liked it too because it told a good story throughout the match and throughout this whole thing with the 4 of them. And, did it have to be 30 minutes? Maybe not, but, it was fine. I enjoyed it.
They could have cut it to 20 and got rid of the outside interference, and Michael would still be retired.
Because I don't know what you expect to see. We're not going to see a fast-paced Undertaker match.
No, the most we saw
Or a
was him-
Triple H match, for that matter.
That's true. The most we saw him move was what? One rope to the other and fool us thinking he's going to dive?
Yeah.
That's the most he moved at one time.
Yeah, it's just about having realistic expectations, and the expectations I had for this match, they well exceeded it.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Except for Kane.
So,
And I understand, he's got a political career, so he couldn't get hurt.
he still took a bump through the table.
Well, yeah, he took some bumps, but, he never really did anything except be there.
Well, I wonder what he's going to do in the match at Saudi Arabia, then. Is the Undertaker just going to work the whole match?
He might as well. He did it. Greatest showdown.
Greatest showdown.
Super showdown.
I don't even think that was intentional, but that was hilarious.
No, it was not intentional. We go to too many damn countries.
All right, so we're gonna move on here
Thank you.
into something else I liked.
The credits.
In this Raw was Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens.
I'll tell you what. Leo Rush is getting annoying.
Well, that was the point.
No, I mean, it's to the point where I'm about ready to skip his matches.
Oh, man, I loved Leo here.
He was all right until he started in during the match. That's what got me.
Yeah, but you're supposed to hate him.
I understand it, but
he's doing his job.
I can hate him without him interrupting what I'm trying to enjoy.
Well, if they do that every week, it could get old for me. But for this 1 week, I didn't mind it.
It's the same as outside interference, like with a tag team or something. You know, they do it every week, so it's going to get old quick.
Yeah. Break this down a little bit here. Leo, as we mentioned, is on the mic throughout this match, and it was weird because out of nowhere, everything Leo said was positioned to annoy, as we talked about.
Well, it worked.
And, he taunted Owens throughout and just, he tried to start Lashley chants and everyone booed. And, you can say what you want, though, but this is the best reaction Bobby Lashley has gotten one way or the other since returning.
Minus that initial pop when he first debuted.
In his hometown.
Yeah.
Or in his debut. I don't even remember what
Either
happened
one,
then.
though. Besides those, this was his best, and it was a boo.
Yeah. And Lashley had a different mentality here. Lashley had a different mentality here, and he was a lot more ruthless.
Which I enjoyed.
And it was weird because the whole match, he's working as a heel, and Kevin Owens is working as the babyface. And I believe this was from the Raw was in Chicago this week.
Yeah.
So I think that crowd would have cheered Kevin Owens anyway.
But why? He's Canadian.
Not because it's their hometown or anything, but because Chicago is a very smart wrestling town, and they're probably going to like Kevin Owens more than Bobby Lashley.
Well, he does kind of look more like CM Punk than Lashley.
I guess. I just think they probably like Kevin Owens. They liked him throughout this match.
They felt sorry for him getting his ass whooped.
Yeah. So, Owens did another Stone Cold Stunner here, which it's a shame that we're just wasting that move.
It'd be better if it was sold better. Now, Lashley did okay.
Yeah.
But I've seen worse wrestlers sell it better.
That's fair. So, Leo Rush would later distract Owens on the top rope to help Lashley get the win. And, at first, my initial notes were that it was unfortunate that Owens was a pawn in all of this for what was a good turn, all in all, even though it did kind of come out of nowhere. Apparently, Lashley had teased over Twitter the last week, because that's where we build stories on Twitter, that something has to change and all that. But, it would later be reported that Owens was written off here, which happened when Lashley attacked him after the bell, hit his knee in the post several times, because Owens is apparently going to have knee surgery. It's unsure the extent of which the knee surgery will be and how long he'll be out for. The initial report is that it could be 4 to 8 months.
Wow.
And apparently, the decision to turn Lashley heel, again, according to Dave Meltzer, was that because Owens is going to be out, they felt like they needed another heel, and Bobby fit the bill for that.
I agree. They need to fill his shoes somehow.
And I found this interesting. Meltzer also reported that Leo Rush did have an earpiece in during his whole performance there, and every line he said was fed directly from Vince McMahon.
Oh, that's why it was annoying and stupid. Good job, Vince.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, though. So I'm interested to see what they do with Lashley going forward as a heel now. Hopefully more inspired than what they've done with him as a babyface.
As a heel, he could turn on Leo Rush and throw him through the ring or something.
No. We need Leo.
No, we don't.
He brings out the personality in Bobby Lashley that he doesn't have.
But he's a heel now. He has no personality.
Well, you still need to have some sort of personality.
Wish he could find that on his own. He doesn't need this annoying little pest to tell me what he's going to do.
Yeah, but I don't think Bobby is getting the amount of heat that he got there without Leo either.
Then hook him up with Heyman. Get rid of Rush. Let Heyman be the manager for Lashley.
Well, it's clear you've made up your mind. We'll move on. Here's something else that you can rant about is that John Cena is announced to be in the World Cup, which we were told throughout this show and on SmackDown that it is to determine the best in the world.
Then how did he just get put in?
He did not have to earn it. Every other person in this so far has qualified, but he's the 16-time champ, so he doesn't have to.
But he's not the 17th. So therefore, he's not ahead of anybody.
Yeah, Ric Flair was not announced for this match.
Very true.
Yeah, I'm gonna get into this more on SmackDown, but like I said earlier, this tournament is straight out of 2005.
There are more faces than heels in it so far.
So far, we've got 4 out of 8 competitors, and neither one of which is Chris Jericho or CM Punk, so I'm not sure how it can really be to determine the best in the world.
Oh, come on now, Cena's in it. They want you to know he's the best in the world. That's why he just walked on to it.
He'll probably win, too.
You know he will.
All right, so Bayley and Balor, B&B, were having an interview backstage. Bobby and Leo interrupted, and Leo continued to be annoying.
No.
That was all I wrote down for that segment. It was just to really affirm, yes, Bobby is a heel.
Yeah, that's all it was for.
Yeah. So we had Elias in the ring. This was every Elias promo we've ever seen in the last year.
It seemed quite longer, a little longer than most.
I don't even remember.
It took me a while to fast forward through it.
Oh, but you're from Chicago. You would have gotten some heat out of this.
I'm not from Chicago.
Well, you lived
I'm from Illinois, but I'm not from Chicago.
Oh, well, close enough.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Chicago is like...
So you live on the edge of the damn state here in North Carolina, so I could say, well, shit, you got mountains, man.
I'm sorry, I honestly thought you did live in Chicago.
No.
But he said something about the Cubs not playing in the World Series this year.
Yes, I did catch that, and that kind of upset me and caused me to fast forward.
See? Makes it
because they missed it. Chicago.
Ronda Rousey's music interrupts this, and Elias just sort of fades away.
Again. Doesn't it happen to him all the time, though? The divas come out, he's gone.
The women come out.
Divas, women, girls, whatever you want to call
them. I know. You're just used to it at this point.
Yeah, I'm old, and I've got habits.
Yeah, Ronda's music cuts him off, and Elias just leaves over the commercial, I think. And
how did he leave? I mean, did he just go through the audience so the cameras wouldn't see him?
I think it cut to commercial while Ronda was entering, and he probably just left during the commercial. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. But
we got the first of 2 Super Showdown rematches on this show, which, not a fan of personally, but whatever. We'll roll with it. We had the 6-woman tag that we saw at Super Showdown with the Bellas and Ronda Rousey against the Riot Squad. And it started off with Liv and Brie in the ring, and Liv looks a lot more locked in than she normally is, and she slapped Brie in the face. They did an early pull-apart brawl that went on to the outside of the ring, and the 2 teams had to pull them apart from each other.
Yeah.
Which, nice play on the situation that happened a few weeks ago.
With what happened, they took the accident of the concussion, and they're just throwing it into the current story, which is great.
Yeah, that's the WWE thing to do.
Yeah. Oh, you broke your finger? Well, we're going to have your hand get stepped on. Now, there was that part with Brie, and it was towards right at the beginning, when she was trying to do the it kicks, yes kicks, kicks, whatever kicks.
The Brie mode kicks.
The Brie mode kicks onto Liv, and Liv wasn't having it.
Yeah, that's when the brawl broke out. Is she ducked the final one and then just like did a takedown, and they both brawled to the outside.
Yeah, she took Brie down. She said, "Not again."
Brie took a terrible hip toss in this match. I noted she got like 0 height.
Yeah,
and
I saw that.
And just fell.
She's got too much ring rust to be in the ring.
You know, one of the podcasts I listen to is the Solid Monster Sounds Off. Is obviously he doesn't need me to shout him out, but you know, one of the things he mentioned when the Liv Morgan and Brie Bella situation happened is that if and Brie and a lot of other people put that situation on ring rust on Brie's part, and what Solid Monster mentioned was the WWE has this great thing down in Florida called the Performance Center.
Very true.
And if you have ring rust, you can easily make the flight out there and work it off.
Oh, and I'm not saying she shouldn't have. She should have. She's making... I love the Bellas. Ever since they debuted.
Yeah.
Their twin magic.
I've been the exact opposite.
Their twin magic was great before Nikki had surgery to, you know, enhance certain things. But I've always liked the Bellas. And now that they're back, Nikki's, you know, she's doing her thing. Brie just can't seem to get out of the rut of causing issues.
Yeah.
So
she seems like the odd woman out in the pair at this point.
Yeah, she either needs to...
And to be fair, that's no one's fault but her own, because Nikki is the much better wrestler.
Very true. And, you know, they do have other stuff going.
And they've both improved a lot, which I'll give them credit for, but it's hard not to improve when you're that bad.
That's true. But, you know, she had the baby a year ago. She's got her wine company. They've got their clothing company.
Yeah, she's got a lot.
Their plates are full. But if you're going to be on TV with the name of Bella, you better be able to know what you're doing between the ropes.
Be able to get some height on a hip toss.
I mean, come on. I mean, I've seen people in wheelchairs jump higher.
So, Liv later kicked Brie in the face again. Fun.
Yeah.
And, Rousey gets in with Ruby to end this match, and she taps out Ruby Riott, which I hated so much.
Well, you didn't think something else was going to happen.
She could have tapped out... Liv and Sarah are right there. Why are we going to tap out Ruby Riott?
Why not?
Because she has...
Why are you discriminating against everybody else except Riott?
Because she has the most potential right now to be a challenger to Ronda in the future. So I don't understand why...
I could see that.
Why we're beating her so quickly and so easily.
Well, because at the same time, though, it's a 6-woman tag. It doesn't matter who gets beat. You get beat, you get beat.
No, I think it in WWE's eyes, anytime they want to protect someone, they don't have them get pinned or submitted in those sort of situations.
They must not want to protect her.
Yes, exactly. That's what frustrates me.
Which, in that aspect, you're right. And she's great. I like Riott. They should have put Logan in there. I mean, big girl, let Ronda take her out.
In the pay-per-view, Ronda put a double armbar on Liv and Sarah.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the perfect ending because Ruby was involved.
And it was a double armbar.
Yeah. So I don't get why they protect her there just to beat her the next night.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Or the next 2 nights or whatever it was from then.
It doesn't make sense unless they're setting up some kind of storyline. But as we will get into later in this match, that's not the case.
Yeah, so we finally got the turn that I expected to happen at the Super Showdown, but it happened here instead. The second heel turn of the night, I guess.
Yeah, it was.
Brie and Nikki turn on Ronda. They try to beat her down, but Ronda fights off both of them.
Yeah, they didn't do a very good job, but look who we're talking about.
But eventually, the Bellas, the numbers advantage did get the better, and I think they ran her into the post or the stairs or something.
They whooped up on her for a while.
Yeah.
But is there nobody in the back that could have came out and helped? Isn't there nobody that has respect?
That's a funny thing. Natalya. Where was Natalya?
Thank you. They're best friends.
Yeah, supposedly. But then again, so were Brie and Nikki and Ronda.
What, for what, maybe a month?
Yeah. Because all women's storylines are based around friendship.
Friendships and betrayal, that's it. Look at Nia and Alexa. Oh, you're my best friend. Oh, you're a big fat slob.
Yeah, that was about the essence of it.
Yeah.
And in that one, Nia actually turned before, and then they just ignored that it ever happened.
Yeah. But what happened to the old days where, your storylines would actually mean something? It's, you're such a bully. I don't like you no more. We used to be best friends, blah, blah, blah. No, I want, deceit and backstabbing and betrayal that you don't even know who's doing it.
Yeah.
Back when Vince McMahon was doing the angle with Undertaker kidnapping Stephanie.
Oh God.
Where you didn't know Vince McMahon was behind it. Something like that.
Well,
I mean, you did.
I'm not gonna support that one because.
Well, I'm not saying support, but something like that to where you don't know what's going on.
The thing though is that it made no sense for it to be Vince.
No, that didn't.
It was unexpected, but
that's what I'm looking for, the unexpected takes on stuff. I'm tired of being able to know what's going to happen before I watch Raw.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like things... I think there's a medium, though, that it doesn't have to be entirely unpredictable as long as it makes sense.
Yeah. No, it doesn't have to be entirely unpredictable, but I'd like to have some kind of surprises throughout the night.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's a Miz TV talk show. Oh, look, there's going to be a fight of some sort. It's a talk show. It's like having Jerry Springer on Raw.
All right. So we'll go forward here, onward from, Nikki versus Ronda was finally announced for Evolution.
Which I always thought I heard it was supposed to be WrestleMania. But I read that at WrestleMania time, so...
Oh, okay.
It's been 6 months.
I would assume they're probably going to do Ronda versus Charlotte or something at WrestleMania.
I'd rather see that anyway.
This is another one that Meltzer reported months ago, was that Nikki and Ronda would be the main event at the Evolution pay-per-view. And what do you know? It came true, unfortunately.
Has he noted who's going to win yet? Because I don't want one of them to win.
Well, I definitely don't want Nikki Bella to win.
Exactly.
But I can't imagine that she'll win that match.
But since we're on...
I would be stunned if she won that match.
But since we're talking about the Bellas, don't forget Total Divas every Wednesday.
I did mean to ask you, do you have a review for us yet?
Yeah, I see why viewership's dropping.
Well, what are the captivating storylines in this season?
Paige has a new boyfriend that nobody knew about.
Okay.
And he's some musician. I have no idea who. That was the biggest thing. And Lana is a drunk.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, her and Natty just got into it. Lana can't hold her alcohol.
But
then most of it was...
What kind of Russian is she? If she can't hold her alcohol, what's the point of being Russian?
Well, she was raised there, but she wasn't born there.
Right, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I know that she wasn't born there, but she still has that heritage.
Yeah, from Tennessee.
Well, her ancestors were Russian.
Well, my ancestors were Irish, but you don't see me eating Lucky Charms.
Wow, what a stereotype.
Yeah, I know. You'll edit that out.
No, I mean, I've been making a stereotype the whole time.
I know.
She should be coming out on TV double fisting vodka.
Yeah, where's the Russian hat like Nikolai Volkov used to wear? Where's the red Soviet suit?
Now she doesn't even have the fake Russian accent anymore.
I know. What happened to that? That was so sexy, too. Now she's just another redneck girl from the hills of Tennessee.
But she still sometimes sprinkles it in, too, when she says, like, Rusev.
Yeah, it's like, dude, we can see through that. It's like Kofi trying to go back to his accent.
Let's see here. Oh, yeah, we had another form of the Mixed Match Challenge promotional segment, as I'm calling it.
The Mahalisha.
The Mahalisha against Finn Balor and Bailey.
B&B? Is it Bailey and Balor or Balor and Bailey?
And who cares?
Well, I do.
I don't.
That's why I asked.
I don't even slightly care.
Well, I mean, just out of respect, who do I say first?
I don't care.
Okay.
This same match in some variation has happened in like the last month of Raw, I feel like.
I know why, and I found out why. Because usually the teams that compete on Raw or SmackDown are usually the ones that are going to compete that week on the Mixed Match Challenge. That's the way it's been lately.
So have they been competing every week on the Mixed Match
I'm not
Challenge?
saying against each other, but they're doing the Mixed Match Challenge different to where you wrestle more than once.
Yeah.
So a lot of, now that everybody's got their first match in, they're starting to do their seconds. So we're starting to see all these other teams just go at it again. And to me, it's getting old. I don't need to see it on Raw, on SmackDown, and on the Challenge.
Yeah, I don't know why it needed to be double elimination or whatever it is.
I don't mind that
robin.
part. I don't mind that part, but I don't need to see it on the main two shows if I'm going to sit and watch an hour long of it afterwards.
Yeah.
Why do I need to watch the Challenge when I'm watching the same teams do it here?
Yep. The only note I made of this is that Balor wins via coup de grace.
Yeah, well, nothing new.
Whatever.
Yeah, it was a throwaway match to me.
So we had a backstage segment with the Dogs of War, with Dolph Ziggler trying to pump up. Yeah, with Dolph Ziggler trying to pump up Braun and Drew, saying, we can win this and we got this, and back to his cheerleading roots.
Yeah.
And Drew gets pissed off at him and tells him to worry about pulling his own weight. And Braun yells at both of them and says he doesn't want any excuses from either of them.
Oh, I see Braun's point. I see Drew's point.
Yeah.
Ziggler's the weakest link on that team.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's weak. He's just weaker than everybody else.
Easily.
He's a great competitor. He's a great showmanship. But compared to those three,
yeah.
It's no different than having me in there.
Yeah. We'll get into the second rematch, which is the main event, which is the Shield against the Dogs of War again.
For the last time ever again.
Pretty much. So Baron Corbin is walking backstage, and this is going to set up one of easily my favorite moment of this show. Not the backstage segment, what would follow it, is that Heath asked to be in the World Cup and wants to qualify, and he wants to be a part of the Battle Royal that Baron Corbin is setting up, where the winner gets to qualify for the World Cup. And Corbin just tells Heath that he isn't any good.
Yeah.
That was heartbreaking.
It was cold, but it's kind of true. He really isn't all that great.
No.
But he's a good character for TV.
Yeah. I wish they would have done more a couple years ago when he started getting hot with him, but
yeah,
that's long in the past now.
Now he's just an afterthought.
So we come back from commercial, and this battle royal that Baron Corbin has set up is taking shape.
I did not expect this crap.
There are stereotypical foreign gimmicks in the ring.
Yeah.
It looked like it was the gimmick battle royal
from World Cup.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Trying to represent the other countries.
We had characters such as the Belgium Waffler.
Yeah,
in this match.
Come on, really. Good job, creative.
But the only one I popped for, and it's funny given the finish of this match, was when they introduced Los Conquistador.
Because he's not new.
No, we've seen him
years ago.
I was wondering if Edge or Christian was under.
I was thinking maybe Christian. I knew Edge couldn't.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, Christian. But then I saw, a little bit of weight on him. Christian don't have that much of a belly.
Who could ever forget when the Los Conquistadors won the World Tag Team titles?
Oh God! If you don't know what we're talking about, use the network and go find it. It's awesome.
We never found out who the Los Conquistadors were.
Edge and Christian.
All we know is that they had long blonde hair and they used the same moves that Edge and Christian did.
Yeah.
That's all we know. We don't know for sure.
Well, that's like, the Patriot or Mr. America using the same moves as Hulk Hogan. With long blonde hair coming out the back of the mask.
We never found out.
No, we never found out. It could be a twin.
Yeah, there's that. It's
speculation.
It's just a coincidence,
Yeah, that's it. Sure.
So, Los Conquistador immediately rolls to the outside and just sits leaning against the post.
Yeah, like he's just taking a siesta and just chilling out. And I'm sitting there like, I've seen so many people do that. Like
all he was missing was a sombrero.
Yeah.
As he was just taking a nap out there.
And if you think about it, one of the other guys had one.
So, Baron Corbin eliminates everyone.
Fairly quickly.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of nobodies.
Corey Graves, I thought, was hilarious throughout this match when he says, "Oh, these guys are really good. I saw their highlights on YouTube."
Yeah. Yeah.
So Baron eliminates everyone, and he thinks he's won, but the ref points out to him that Los Conquistador has not been eliminated. And eventually he enters the ring, and he starts throwing German suplexes at him.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw the first German and how he popped his hips afterwards, I knew it was Kurt Angle right away.
As soon as he didn't let go, I knew who it was.
Yeah. That was the only person it could have been.
And, of course, the Angle Slam.
Yeah, he follows up with the Angle Slam. The crowd is going wild for this, and he clotheslines Baron Corbin over the top rope into the floor to qualify for the World Cup. And he takes off the mask to reveal it's him.
Yeah.
I thought Corbin's selling of this was pretty good, too, because originally when he gets eliminated, he has the initial shock of this conquistador just eliminated me.
Yeah, like, oh my God.
But then when he pulled the mask off, he was even more shocked.
Yeah.
Because, oh, God, it's Kurt Angle.
But, everyone says he's on vacation, but he's on vacation as GM. He's still under contract as a wrestler.
Yeah, and that's what they did in the follow-up interview afterwards. And Kurt Angle just says, well, technically, I'm still on vacation.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. We have, at this point, Kurt Angle and John Cena qualifying from Raw with 2 more to go from each show.
Yep.
I'm not sure how many more names they can pull out that were active during 2005, but I'm sure they'll find a way.
Well, they're getting there. Maybe Triple H can join in.
He's a little bit busy that night.
Come on now, he's the game.
So we had Ember Moon against Nia Jax. For what reason, I still don't know.
I don't know who said it. Maybe it was... I don't think it was Graves, so it must have been Michael Cole. But they said it was just in the spirit of competition.
Yes.
Which, okay, I get. And I enjoyed it. It was
fine.
I mean, nothing spectacular.
But in the last few weeks, they sort of tried to build a friendship with Nia and Ember. Because friendship.
Yeah. They need a new storyline of betrayal.
Well, there was no betrayal here. There was just
they have to build the friendship first.
There was just a regular match, which the crowd was completely dead for.
Yeah, they were.
And Nia no-sold a dive from Ember to the outside, and Nia tried to run after Ember, but she ends up running into the LED board, and Ember ducks into the ring at a count of 9 and wins the match by count out.
Yeah. What a waste.
I guess it's kind of a storyline for Ember Moon, maybe? That she hasn't had a storyline since she got caught up?
I don't even think it's a storyline. It's more like just a rare TV appearance.
It was more like, go fill some time for us.
Yeah.
We've got a 3-hour show to run.
We're out of fireworks. Can you go fill in?
Go kill 6 minutes for us.
Yeah. Wasted time, worthless match. But, I mean, for what it was, just a worthless match, it was alright to watch.
I suppose. We had Trish Stratus out next.
Yes. My next future ex-wife.
I'm just going to say it is that this promo sucked.
It did.
Trish, I don't know if she was ever really even a good talker.
I don't remember that she was, really.
But she definitely wasn't here.
No.
And I don't think she particularly was when she had the promo with Elias a few months ago.
No.
Even though she did have some good lines, there was the delivery was just so weird.
Yeah, she's out of touch with it. She hasn't done it.
Well, the WWE, when Trish was there, was so different than what it is now.
Well, yeah, because back then it's about what you look like.
Yeah, and anytime Trish Stratus had a promo back then, she was being seductive.
Or in Toronto, or wherever she's from, so nobody cared what she said.
She's from Toronto. But
the audience was different. We didn't care what she said. We were looking at her, not listening to her.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't even want to recap this promo, but she called Alexa's moment of bliss a moment of BS. Alexa and Mickey came out. Alexa did her fake baby face into a heel turn.
Which was awesome
that she always does.
It's great.
Talking about how much of an honor it was to even have this match with Trish and all that. I think Trish made some short jokes.
A couple.
Cool.
Great.
Trish invited Alexa to the ring. They obliged Mickey and Alexa. And Mickey says, I believe, that they want to have a tag match against Trish. And conveniently, Lita was there, too.
I know, how convenient. I mean, if Lita wasn't there, what would happen?
I don't know.
However, did they know this would happen?
It's worth pointing out that this Raw was highlighted by Triple H, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Kane, Trish Stratus, and Lita.
This episode of Monday Night Raw has been brought to you by the 1990s.
Well, the early 2000s.
Yeah, late 90s, 2000s, same thing.
That's where Trish and Lita would
Attitude
come in
Era.
2000s.
Fine, it's sponsored by the Attitude Era. You happy?
Well, we gotta be accurate.
We gotta have fun. Accuracy is like wrestling, it's fake.
Oh, man.
Just kidding, it's scripted.
So, Lita comes out, the two clear the ring. Lita would set both of them up, or I think she just sets Alexa or Mickey up for the moonsault.
I think it was just Alexa.
And Mickey pulls her out of the ring.
Or vice versa, but yeah.
I'm just going to ask it now. Lita, please don't do the moonsaults. It's just...
If you do, practice first.
I don't want you to kill yourself or anyone else.
Well, come on now. Just don't do any suicide dives.
If you remember the Royal Rumble when she did the moonsault onto, I think it was Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, it was the lowest moonsault I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And I think she came close to killing herself, Mandy, and Sonya all in one breath.
But when doesn't she come close to killing herself when she does a high-flying maneuver?
Yeah, I guess even back then she still did.
Even back then she was always trying to kill herself.
But let's just leave the moonsault at home. I don't want you to break your neck again, or anyone else.
No. Unless you practice it and you can do it without hurting anybody. Go talk to Charlotte. She'll give you some pointers.
Yeah, the key is to land on your feet.
Yeah,
with Charlotte.
And slap them with your hands.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't sit there and land on the back of your neck.
So, for the first time since the Shield reunited, we got the old school Shield promo with the handheld camera that was on the ground that they picked up.
Which I always loved those.
With the black and white.
I've always loved those.
Yeah, that was a nice little piece of nostalgia for that promo. Shield is back and stronger than ever. They say something like that. I don't know. I didn't write anything down from it other than it was nice to see the old school.
It was
style of promo. So we got our favorite feud of the year next, which I'm sure is going to win all of the Wrestling Observer Awards for feud of the year. Was Chad Gable and Bobby Roode against the Ascension.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I thought we'd never get to see this match. Ever.
The crowd the crowd cared about this match so much that they started chanting for CM Punk.
Yeah. How sad is that?
So Gable pinned Victor after getting a blind tag, and he hit the Chaos Theory, the delayed German, to get the pin. And then AOP came out and killed everyone.
Which, I mean, there was no point, but it was like, okay.
Which was the highest the crowd got during this match, because they actually popped for AOP.
Yeah.
I did just want to talk about the illogical things in this storyline. Is that all I've gathered from this whole storyline is that Chad Gable and Bobby Roode individually are both better than Victor. In tag team matches, they're both better than Victor. But neither of them are better than Connor.
So what you're saying is Connor needs a new tag team partner.
That seems like what it was built towards, as dissension in the ascension. I don't know.
Oh, I like that.
Dissension in the ascension. That's a raw title.
If you look at how the matches have ended with Gable tagging himself in and kind of screwing Bobby Roode out of the finish.
Yeah. I think they're building to the Roode heel turn, too.
Or, Roode heel turn or just the implosion of the team.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed the last few weeks, it's always Gable getting the pin by tagging in himself when Bobby's good to go.
Yeah.
And you can always see it on his face. Well, like, what the hell did you tag me for?
Yeah. Yeah. This sucked, the whole match. The only good part was when AOP killed them.
Yeah, the only good part came after the match.
I wanted to note also that I'm sure you did not know this, but do you know when Victor started wrestling?
Well, going by what I've seen, when he got to NXT.
Nope. Victor has been wrestling since 1999.
Where? At home in the backyard?
No. He was in New Japan Pro Wrestling for a period of time and other different indie promotions. But it's fascinating because at least 3 of these guys, with Roode, Gable, and Victor, are credential, polished wrestlers. And Connor has his upside. I haven't seen much of Connor, but he's an average big man, I would say.
He looks like the type that I'd want to see in a new version of Demolition.
Yeah, which is what he's in, except they don't win.
Yeah, well, that's why I said new version.
But this story could have been a lot more interesting if they paced it differently, in that the first 2 weeks, Gable and Roode faced the Ascension. They faced them in back-to-back weeks in tag team matches, and they beat them both times,
which we discussed.
And then after that is when Connor started getting wins.
Yeah, when they were singles matches.
I feel like if you put this in reverse, and then at first the Ascension is getting the wins, but then over time Bobby and Gable sort of come together in their chemistry and all, and that's what propels them to beat them in the end. And even though it wouldn't be like groundbreaking or anything, because it's still the Ascension, but it would have been a more interesting way of doing things, I suppose.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, kudos to these 4 guys. They're getting some great frequent flyer miles, but I'm tired of seeing the same damn people every week.
Yeah, there needs to be more.
Come on, where's Bray Wyatt? I know he's not. I know he's not there, but where is he? Haven't seen him for a while. Since everything with Matt Hardy.
Yeah, he hasn't been on TV since Matt Hardy has retired.
So,
who knows?
There's other teams around besides these 2. You can find somebody else. I don't care if it's the Ascension versus a couple of locals. Anybody else.
Well, I think they could just all form together and try to take on AOP, and AOP demolishes them again.
So, what if the AOP decided to join the Shield?
I don't know.
They'd be unstoppable, but I'm just thinking of them as tag champions. They'd be, who could beat AOP?
Well, they don't need the Shield to do that.
No, they don't need the Shield to do that. It'd just be a cool thought just seeing them walk down out of the audience, you know.
Yeah. I like them as an opponent for the Shield more than with them.
Yeah. You know, just a weird thought. But I'd like to see them go for the tag titles here soon.
Hopefully.
But I guess you'd have to get through the Shield and get to BDD.
Yeah. So, Paul Heyman is here.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Paul pointed out how Brock Lesnar has the advantage in the Crown Jewel match because while Roman and Braun are destroying each other, Brock is sitting at home reading a magazine and enjoying a medium well steak.
Yeah. Waste of time.
Yeah.
Waste of time.
The medium well steak?
No.
Oh.
The whole segment.
No, I was going to agree that medium well steaks are a waste of time.
That is too. It needs to be medium rare.
Yes. There are two ways you can cook a steak. Medium rare and wrong.
Pretty much, yeah.
And Brock Lesnar is out enjoying his medium well steaks and his steamed broccoli and his mashed potatoes or his baked potatoes or whatever it was he asked Paul for that one time.
Oh, yeah. Who cares? I don't care about Lesnar anymore. I don't think anybody does. His year-and-a-half title reign with like 13 defenses, to me, killed it. I have no respect for him. For all I care, he can never come back, and I'd be okay.
Yeah, as a character, at least you have that. Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I always like seeing Lesnar, just because he's the only one in this current roster that really has an aura to him that feels any sort of special.
He was around in 2005 too. Maybe he's going to be part of the World Cup. You never know.
Moving on. We had the 6-man Shield versus Dogs of War. It was what you'd expect. Plenty of chaos.
What we just saw the other day.
Yeah, effectively. Roman pulled out his Superfly dive over the top rope to take out everyone, which I do enjoy when he does that because he uses it very sparingly, so that when he does use it, it's pretty cool to see.
It's not like Rollins, who uses 5 or 6 in a match.
It does play into his whole Superman thing too, to see him like he does actually look like Superman flying over the top rope.
Yeah.
And
if he could do the Superman punch when he lands that'd be awesome. But there wasn't a whole lot to this match that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, there was some dissension with Braun, Drew, and Dolph. Braun was yelling at them throughout the match.
Get their crap together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Drew McIntyre at one point got in Strowman's face, which seemed like a match that I would love to see. Drew versus Strowman.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. But screw it, let's do it WWE. Let's make it a triple threat and throw Roman in there too.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Braun's momentum has been halted due to needing to turn heel for Roman Reigns.
It is so sad because he was on a roll. He was probably one of the most over wrestlers of the time on the current roster.
Can I give you something pessimistic to look at?
Well, you're going to anyway, so go for it.
The two most over baby faces on Raw prior to like around WrestleMania time, then around that time, were Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins.
Yep.
And now both of them have been sucked into this Roman Reigns black hole to help get Roman over.
Which makes no sense.
Braun turning heel to do that, and Seth rejoining the Shield to help do that.
And with Seth having the IC title, I mean, you don't see much of it anymore. I hate to say it, but you know what?
The whole thing has just been centered around the 6-man feud.
Yeah. And when The Miz had the IC title, at least to me, it meant something. It stood for something besides, I've got a belt.
They're just props now.
Yeah. And it's ridiculous. Good job, WWE, for ruining my childhood.
There's too many titles, and they're not taken seriously enough.
I mean, the only thing we're missing is what? The hardcore title.
Yeah, we need more titles to fix the
I
problem.
think that's the only one we're missing, and that's the one I'd like to see back.
I did like the 24/7 rules on the hardcore title.
I just like that it was a broken belt with duct tape.
It led to some hilarious sort of matches. And segments.
God, yeah. I mean, some of the greatest hardcore matches ever came from that title.
So,
Wasn't much left.
in the midst of the chaos, Drew got a Claymore kick and a pin on Dean Ambrose. And Dean Ambrose leaves the ring as Roman and Seth are coming in and walks to the back, leaving his brothers behind him.
They're really playing this, what's Dean gonna do?
Yeah, ad nauseum.
And it's fine, but when you're smart and you have common sense, nothing major is ever going to happen on TV. It's going to be at the pay-per-views.
Well, not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but for the most part.
I think actually more often they do the turns on TV because they have a bigger audience.
But I think something like this...
And when they did the original Shield split, it was on Raw.
Yeah, on the original split, yeah. But I think something like this, they're going to have take place at a pay-per-view. Maybe coming up. Maybe whenever the six of them go at it again.
Yeah.
Maybe Ambrose will come in with a chair to the Rollins back.
It's very possible. I'm yawning.
I see it better coming at a pay-per-view.
Yeah. It very well could.
Than having another Shield member turn on the team yet on another Monday Night Raw.
We'll see how long they want to drag this out for before they pull the trigger.
Yeah, because originally what I read was they were going to have like a year-long run as the Shield.
Yeah.
But that was before Ambrose got hurt.
Yeah, the last time.
Last year.
Yeah.
So, I haven't read anything on how they're going to go about it. Rumor was that they were going to pick it up where it left off. But with what they're doing with Ambrose, it doesn't make sense now.
Yeah. We'll see where it goes going forward. That was Raw. Solid show. Nothing to
write home about.
No, I thought it was a solid B show.
In fact, it was nothing. I didn't even take notes.
Yeah.
But I would give it I'd give it a C+. Just for the nostalgia.
Yeah, there was fun stuff at least on the show.
I love nostalgia acts because that's when I grew up watching wrestling.
Yeah.
So that's what I know and that's what I fell in love with.
Yeah, and we talked earlier about the reliance on those nostalgia acts and needing to move forward, but they're still fun to see in a short window.
Yeah.
We'll move on to SmackDown here as so SmackDown started very differently than it normally would. We were immediately taken to the ring, and Becky and Charlotte were already in the ring, ready for their Super Showdown rematch for the SmackDown Women's title.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see something different just right away with the match. I still thought this should have been the main event, and we'll get into what actually was the main event later. Speaking of nostalgia acts. A lot of people have said this was better than their Super Showdown match. I didn't really see it that way. I liked their first match better. But this one was good. It went a good 30 minutes through commercials and everything, and it was a fun match. No denying that. I think if you put a better finish on the Super Showdown match, then it would have been better.
Yeah.
Because I think the Super Showdown match was a lot more striking and back and forth in that sort of way, and this one was a lot more grappling than those sort of moves and that kind of back and forth.
Yeah, but I guess it was the feistiness of this match.
Yeah. So the stipulation is if Becky gets DQ'd, she loses the title after what happened last night.
Now, would that go to Flair, or would it just be vacated and they'd have to do some kind of...
Charlotte would win. Charlotte would win the title.
That's how it used to be, but I didn't know for sure.
So late in the match, Becky goes for a walk because you see it didn't say anything about if she got counted out.
And I said that to myself from the second the bell rang. You can't get disqualified, but you can easily take a walk.
Yeah, that was when they said if she gets disqualified, she loses. My immediate thought was, well, she's just going to walk out.
Yeah.
And then she'll retain that way. But Charlotte got her back in the ring, and shades of the Super Showdown match where she had the title, and again, the title's in the ring when Charlotte drags her back in. Becky pushed Charlotte into the ref and tried to use the title, but the ref turned around to stop it and was close to disqualifying Becky, but Charlotte came in and did a roll-up, which I guess the ref had to stop what he was doing to count.
But how can you disqualify just because she was holding the belt? How could the ref disqualify him if he didn't see what happened?
I guess the assumption is like the old Eddie Guerrero trick where Charlotte is on the ground and Becky's holding the title, and the referee didn't see anything before that.
But I mean, in looking at it like that, though, I mean, if a ref doesn't see a tag, that should still be legal then.
I'm not going to try to sit here and argue referee inconsistencies because it's a loophole that will never end.
Well, it's one of those things that just kind of ticks me off when certain things slide one week and then they don't slide the next week.
It's whatever's convenient, but,
And that's the problem. We need consistency, not convenience.
Yes, I agree. So Charlotte would later hit a spear for a near fall. Charlotte went for a moonsault on the outside, but Becky moved and hit a Beck-sploder onto the floor.
Charlotte hit that floor pretty hard, too.
Yeah, it was a good thud. We get to a count of 9 before Charlotte is able to get back into the ring when Becky was trying to take the count-out win. Charlotte hit natural selection in the ring, but Becky managed to roll out.
And I thought that was it.
The fight on the outside would ensue, and this would lead to our double count-out finish.
So what's next? Cage match?
Well, no, they announced what happens next.
Oh, that's right.
The last woman standing match
but I mean,
Evolution.
Why not do it in a cell?
Well, we just had Hell in a Cell a month ago.
So do it in a cage then, no roof. They don't do those anymore.
It would make sense in the story that Becky is always trying to run away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they just did Hell in a Cell, but with the storyline, it needs it.
Yeah, it fits. I didn't really like the count-out finish, but, it's a TV match, so I guess it is what it is.
They're just setting it up for Evolution.
Yeah. And the brawl continued up the ramp when Charlotte speared Becky through the LED wall.
Yeah.
And Charlotte, I don't know how she did it, but she cut her wrist open.
The only thing I could think of is after it hit, maybe it got cut on something.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I would assume that it was gimmicked a little bit, and
I don't know if it was or not.
Because it would only make sense, but she still managed to cut her wrist open somewhere, which fortunately, I guess she's all right because I haven't heard anything else. But
well, she performed. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh yeah, she did have the mixed match challenge match, but those sort of cuts to the wrist can always be dangerous if you hit something wrong.
Oh yeah, I mean, really mess up your hand.
Yeah.
So I hope she bladed just right.
Well, this wasn't a blade. I think she just cut herself on something that
one of the monitors or something back there that the wall.
Yeah, when the wall sort of like splits open,
she
could have cut herself on something there.
It didn't look like it was just part of the storyline.
No, and they don't normally do blood on TV.
No, not unless it's accidental, or they have permission from Vince.
And when that happens, they
cut away too.
They do what they did here, and they posted the photos on WWE.com in black and white, and things like that.
Yeah, but I mean, if watching it live, once that blood came out, I mean, the camera just they cut away from it.
They got it for a second and then cut away.
Yeah.
So we got Jeff Hardy out next for his qualifying match with Samoa Joe.
Still love his makeup.
Yeah.
I love the new makeup. I don't know why. It's just weird.
It's nice, but Jeff Hardy was active in WWE in 2005, so of course you knew who was going to win this match.
Yes. But there's another reason, too.
Yeah, so Samoa Joe is still selling the knee from the previous show at Super Showdown.
Which makes sense because we don't have anybody on SmackDown doing that like Rollins does on Raw.
Yeah, but the difference is with Rollins, it's just one match to the next. But I like Joe that I miss this in that I wish there were more long-term injuries that played out on TV.
Damn, you're cold.
No, I mean scripted injuries, of course.
Oh, okay.
But more selling of injuries. Like, sometimes they'll do an injury angle, like what we saw with Ronda Rousey and Alexa Bliss in the Hell in a Cell show, is that they'll attack you a week before the show, and then that'll be it, and you'll sell it for that, and then you'll move on. I would like to see more long-term sort of things like that, and they sell it for weeks.
You talking about like when Bob Orton broke his arm and was accompanying Randy Orton to the ring, and they used the cast
Yeah,
for
sure.
weeks.
Yeah.
But an injury, I could see that because you're right. I mean, nowadays, if it's not a legit injury, they're back and fine the next week.
Yeah.
And it's getting old. Unless it's the day after a pay-per-view and they're taped up, they look brand new.
Yep.
And it's hard to believe in what you're selling when there's no battle wounds.
Yeah, and Joe sold this so beautifully when he tries to get up multiple times as Jeff Hardy attacked the knee throughout the match. And he tried to get up 2, 3, 4 times, and the ref called for the bell, called for the stoppage, and awarded Jeff Hardy the win because Samoa Joe was unable to continue.
It had me fooled.
Yeah, he did a very good job of this.
I mean, we've talked about it, after that.
Yeah.
And it had me fooled. It had me going.
Yeah.
Joe sold the hell out of it so perfectly that Rollins couldn't even hold a candle to him.
No, he wasn't getting up on the top rope and doing suicide dives.
Yeah.
Like Rollins
He
would
couldn't
do.
even get up.
Yeah.
He's falling and he don't have one of those thingies.
The life alerts.
Yeah.
So it protects Joe in the loss, gives Hardy the pass to the Crown Jewel World Cup.
Which is fine. I don't need to see Joe in it anyway. He was just in a major storyline.
Well, it's somebody on Reddit pointed this out, is that Samoa Joe still has not won a storyline, has not won a feud since he's come to WWE.
Oh, wow.
At least to the main roster.
Yeah.
Because if you think about when he first started, he had the feud with Seth Rollins, which he lost. He had feuds with who else? Styles, lost.
Yeah.
I can't even remember a lot of them. Brock Lesnar, he lost.
Well, that's a given. Everybody loses.
Roman Reigns, he lost.
So he's like a main roster high card jobber.
Yeah.
I mean, he's there to put people over and make them look stronger than what they are because he's a big guy.
Yeah. That's what it seemed like. But we'll move on. Paige announced the last woman standing match with Becky and Charlotte next. Cool. Miz hosts Miz TV.
Which I was so upset there was no Truth TV.
I was going to mention, I don't think R-Truth was on this show.
No, I did not see him, but I was really hoping to see it because he was at the Mixed Match Challenge.
After the loud chants of Truth TV in the previous week. It's unfortunate that we haven't capitalized on it, but,
Yeah, it would have been nice.
We'll give them next week. We'll see what happens on Tuesday.
Otherwise, I'm going to send a scathing email to Creative.
Bring back Truth TV.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, we've seen Miz TV, but it's the same thing every time.
Yeah, but I liked this one. This was really good with
this one was.
Miz hosting AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, and he brings out AJ Styles first, and Miz goes on about how he was told to remain professional for this interview.
Yeah.
And he professionally mocked Daniel Bryan for a little bit, and Bryan comes out. They shake hands, which is when Miz starts mocking both of them, and says that nobody wants to see this. Nobody wants to see two people that respect each other.
I do.
Yeah.
It makes for better matches.
Yeah, which I think is like the point that Miz is doing, is that he's healing it up.
Oh, yeah. He's doing what Miz does.
So Brian asks Miz if he wants to talk about their match, and then he says it won't take very long.
Yeah, the 2-minute man.
Yeah, that was the joke made throughout this, that Miz is the 2-minute man. AJ and Brian make fun of him throughout.
Oh, yeah.
And this got good when it got to Brian and AJ, when Miz is sort of like stirring the pot like he normally does in this sort of segment, and he says, like, Brian, how do you feel that AJ thinks that he's better than you? And, Brian says, I'm glad that AJ thinks he's better than me, because I want to beat the best.
Yes.
And AJ might think he's better than me, but I know that I'm better than him. Which is a great build to a title match.
Oh, yeah. I love how they did it.
I love it when we get just two great competitors. They go head to head, and it's just all about who's better and who deserves the title.
Yeah, no interference, no outside, nothing, just straight up competition.
Yeah, and I think this segment in itself made this title feel more important than it has in AJ's entire reign.
Pretty much, because think about it. The promo with Styles and Joe, it was more personal.
Yeah,
emotional.
It wasn't as much about the title.
It wasn't about the title. It was about
and
personal.
With Nakamura, too.
Exactly.
It was more about AJ's balls than the title.
Yeah. Or Nakamura's obsession with everybody's balls.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I enjoy this, and I can't wait to see this match. It's probably the main one I'm looking forward to right now.
Yeah.
Title match-wise, anyway.
Yeah, I definitely can't wait to see this. It's definitely a dream match for Daniel Bryan.
And have they ever gone against each other, like in New Japan or on the Indies anywhere?
They may have in ROH. I don't think they were ever in Japan at the same time. They would have been in ROH around maybe the same time, but I'm not sure if they have or not.
Because I've seen, I never watched ROH, but everything I've seen, it shows Styles, but you never see Bryan. So it made me think maybe Bryan was already in NXT at that time.
I think, Styles would have moved to TNA Impact in like the early 2000s, so that might have been before Daniel Bryan got there.
Okay.
But I can't be entirely sure.
Okay, just checking.
But it's the first time at this stage, of course, that they're having this sort of match.
Yeah.
And Bryan goes on, very good promo, says that, he talked a lot about fighting for his dreams in the past several months, but he never really revealed what his dreams were. And, he said his dreams weren't being in matches with big casts. He didn't name drop him, but he did mention him. And he says it wasn't facing this jerk, and he points to The Miz, and he says it was all about the championship, winning the WWE title, the same title that he won at WrestleMania 30 prior to having to be forced to retire.
Yeah.
So Miz cuts another promo. He steps to the apron to cut the promo, which is another thing I liked.
Yeah, it's like he's getting too smart for his own show.
Yeah. So he goes on about how he brings up a very true point in that the WWE Championship has not main evented a pay-per-view with AJ holding it.
And I had to actually sit there, pause the show, and think about it. But, he's right.
No, it hasn't once.
And
not since the SmackDown exclusive pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones that it has.
Well, yeah, but obviously it's going to be there.
Yeah.
But he's right. It has not headlined a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Which, back in the day, every heavyweight title match was the main event. That's how you knew it was the last match.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you'll have it up front. Look at the Becky and Charlotte match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think in the dual-branded shows, they're always going to take the Universal title to be the main event over the WWE title.
But they really I understand they're going to, but they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because right now...
Well, they should mix it up.
or mix it up. I wouldn't mind seeing the women's title headlining or a tag title headlining.
Yeah.
Any title, it doesn't have to be just the Universal.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, a title match should headline the event or main event.
So Miz says no matter who wins their match at Crown Jewel, I've got next. And Miz then announces that AJ Styles will have a match against Shelton Benjamin right now.
Yeah.
Good to see Benjamin again, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, it is. I like Shelton.
And Miz and Bryan are on commentary during this match. As good as I thought this match was, it was very much overshadowed by Miz and Bryan's commentary. And that was really what the storyline mostly was.
It was about that. The action in the ring was just a distraction from the commentary.
It was funny because you have Miz sitting next to Corey Graves and Byron sitting next to Daniel Bryan, and both of them are defending the other.
Yeah, it's like
and then you have Tom Phillips, the dead inside play-by-play commentator, the somehow less enthusiastic Michael Cole. And
honestly, I don't care for Tom Phillips anyway. I don't like him on the mic. You know, calling the stories, calling the shots. I don't like it. Maybe it's his voice. I don't know. There's something about him I don't like.
There's nothing not to like because everything he says I just don't remember.
And maybe that's it. He's not memorable.
Like, I just tone out everything he says because it doesn't ever carry any weight.
I mean, it's like the King
mostly.
The King and JR. They've got the King was the King.
Yeah.
JR was good old JR. You knew from the minute one when you heard one or both of their voices, it was going to be a damn good show.
Yeah.
At least on commentary.
Yeah, they built that credibility over the years.
I think they've actually ruined that, having three people.
Yeah, it definitely is much harder that way.
Because now you have a heel and a face, and then a neutral.
Yeah.
And what's the neutral guy do? He sits there and calls the action that nobody's talking about because they're commentating back and forth.
Yep. That's a fair point. And on this one, we had 5 people on commentary.
Which made it even worse.
But Miz and Bryan back and forth was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Miz kept talking about how his shoulder was up.
But I never saw a replay of it.
I think it like, when it happened, I thought it came up slightly. But it was like... It was more like his arm came up than his shoulder.
What I was going to say was it his actual shoulder? Because, you know, I can lift up my shoulder, and my shoulder blade is still down, which is what they count.
Yeah. So, Bryan says, no, it wasn't, and if you knew how to wrestle and if you knew any technique, then you would have been able to kick out of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because he kept calling it a small package, and it was just a roll-up.
No, Miz called it a fluke roll-up or whatever, and Bryan says if you knew wrestling, you'd know that it's called a small package.
Yeah, vice versa.
Yeah. I find that back and forth so hilarious.
I want to know what they're like off camera. What's their chemistry off camera? Do they really like each other, or are they really at each other's throats?
Well, I'm sure they're not at each other's throats, but I'm sure that plenty of the things they pull out in promos are at least a shade of reality.
I mean, there's got to be some animosity to have what they have going on.
As far as the match goes, though, I noted that, and I note this all the time, is that AJ takes a hell of a backdrop. Like, if I had to have one person take a back body drop and just see who gets the most heights, I'm taking AJ. He gets so high up there.
Yeah, he does.
The best back body drop in wrestling history, I think.
Okay. Wow.
Is consistently AJ Styles.
Okay, I know. Just side note. Best drop kick, Randy Orton.
Yeah, when he does it like 2 times a year.
But he gets the perfect height. He's perfectly level.
Yeah, he's very precise.
He is. I mean, just side note.
So, prior to the commercial going into this, AJ goes for a phenomenal forearm, but Benjamin hits a step-up knee to the face, which was awesome. I loved Benjamin here. Yeah. Eventually, AJ would get the phenomenal forearm for the win. It was a good short match. I wish we had more of a role for Shelton, but, you know, this is Not a bad spot for him. It's better than not being on TV at all.
Yeah. You remember the match with him and Shawn Michaels?
Oh yeah.
The infamous.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
all I have to say.
The great super kick that has stood the test of time.
Oh my God, that was, to me, that's the best super kick ever, still to this day.
Yep. I mean, people still talk about it today, so you know.
That's, to me, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I had to rewind that several times and just keep rewatching it when I first saw it back in the day.
And it's good to see, like, Benjamin has, like, transformed so much in that he still has that athleticism, but he has so much more power.
Yeah, he wasn't as built
now
and ripped as he is now.
Yeah. Which is good to see. I think Benjamin could be a big player.
Because now he's got the best of both worlds. He's got the power and the speed.
Yeah, he has power and athleticism, which he can use.
I mean, to me, he's almost like Drew McIntyre since he came back.
Yeah. Not as tall, but
not as tall or as light skinned. But he's got the speed, he's got the strength, and he seems like he's got the attitude.
Yeah, I like Benjamin. I hope they have more for him going forward. Corey said at the end when Brian continued mocking Miz 2-minute man, and Corey said that 2 minutes is above the national average.
Well,
that made me feel better about myself.
Okay, well, I wasn't going to go there.
So we have Aiden in the ring, and he's going to reveal to us the rest of the one night in Milwaukee.
Oh, God, this. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll unpack what there is here. Aiden shows the footage with the Lana saying, "I want you... ...
Yeah.
to know how much you mean to Rusev." and you sing for him, and you do the Rusev Day stuff, and he just really appreciates him. You've been so vital in his career. And Aiden says they both mean the world to him, and he leans towards Lana before the footage stops.
But when he leaned in, it looked kind of like a little creeper hug that he's trying to do.
Yeah.
Not just, oh, okay, good to see you, nice to meet your friend.
No, it definitely was that he was trying to hint that they did some stuff after that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, I want to do this. I've got these feelings. Let me give you this creepy-looking hug.
So, Lana and Rusev come out, and this is where stuff got stupid, I'll just say.
It did. It did.
Lana and Rusev say that Aiden got hacked.
How can you get hacked when they know your password? It's not being hacked. It's just them breaking in.
So, I guess they said that it's easy to figure out when the password is I Heart Rusev.
Yeah. And it's like, really? What grown-ass man is going to have I Heart Rusev?
I want to also know, how is that like the first thing they guessed?
Well, maybe because he's always with Rusev, always talking about Rusev.
I could have seen, like, Rusev Day or...
Yeah, or I Heart Rusev Day.
Like...
But just I Heart Rusev, that just came out of left field, I think.
So, yeah, they unveil the rest of the footage to show Lana shunning Aiden.
And walking out.
Shutting him down. And, yeah.
And then you see Aiden in the ring all embarrassed and shit. Because, oh my God, somebody saw the actual end of the footage.
Yeah. Aiden did have a good line at the end where he says, Lana, the offer's still on the table. If you get tired of your Rusev days, you can treat yourself to an Aiden night.
Yeah.
Which, that was at least funny. And Rusev comes after him. He gets hands on him for a second, but then Aiden is able to run away.
They're just setting it up for another match somewhere, maybe at
I thought
Jewel.
I thought there was so much more to be had out of this whole storyline that they just blew it up by, oh, you got hacked, LOL.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
how anticlimactic.
Yeah, it's like, wow.
There was definitely more to be had out of the storyline, but 'tis the end of that. And now we'll just probably get a blow-off match with Rusev and Aiden. Rusev will win, and then Aiden will go to doing nothing again. is my guess.
Well, my guess is it'll be a pre-show match.
Yeah, that's very possible.
Rusev will win. Aiden will, end up going to Raw.
It'd be a shame if this is a pre-show match with how much time they've put into it.
It really bites because I like the combo of English and Rusev.
Yeah, it's what I said from the beginning is that there's not a better role for Aiden out there.
No, and the only thing I can say is since Lana's more involved with Rusev now, it's gone downhill. It was better when it was more Aiden and Rusev with Lana just as a manager type, not asserting her voice.
Yeah.
I
would have liked to see the three of them just be a trio for longer than they were.
Now would their mixed match challenges be like, the New Day's tag matches where you could just Lana could choose what partner she wants that day?
Yeah, that'd
be kind of cool.
That'd be interesting. So main eventing this SmackDown show that did take place in 2018 was Randy Orton versus The Big Show. And it's the first time we've seen Big Show since the match with Braun Strowman where he got put through the cage.
Before we get into that, I think it was at the pay-per-view. There was a sign somebody was holding in the background. And you know how Big Show's song goes. Well, it's the Big Show.
Yeah.
Well, the sign said, well, where's the Big Show? And
here he is.
And it made sense, and then all of a sudden, boom, the next day, or, a couple days later, here's Big Show.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, because he looked great.
So, Big Show was last on Raw, which is frustrating that he just shows up on SmackDown. It wouldn't have been that hard to just say that his contract ran up and he signed a temporary deal with SmackDown or whatever.
Well, how do we know he didn't come over during the draft or anything when he was out?
That's the point, though, is just tie it up.
Yeah.
Don't just have him show up there. Just say anything.
Well, maybe they did, because I know they don't put all the results on TV from the draft.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
it could have been worth mentioning on commentary.
Well, yeah, they could have said something just to close it for people that don't go into all the details like we do.
Yeah, so what a crazy world we live in that this is the main event of SmackDown in 2018.
Yeah, I was disappointed in it.
I don't know. This match I would have enjoyed much more if it wasn't the main event.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. Because it was the main event, it wasn't that great.
Because I like seeing the Big Show still. I might be one of the few that still enjoy seeing Big Show wrestle, but, I think for someone as large as he is to be as versatile as he still is at this age is impressive.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. He's at what, almost 7 foot, 400 pounds?
Yeah, he's 7 feet, and apparently now he's weighing about 380.
Yeah, he did lose quite a bit of weight.
He looks great now.
Oh, he does.
He looks in so much better shape than he was at one point.
And since he got his hip replaced, he's keeping the bed warm for the Undertaker.
Yeah.
He seems so much happier. Walking to the ring, he didn't look like he was in pain or anything like that. He looked good.
Yeah, he did look good throughout this match. Not a lot to get into. Big Show takes a draping DDT from the top rope from Orton.
Which was, you don't see a top rope DDT.
Yeah. Orton teased a punt, which is something we haven't seen since 2009, probably.
I thought they outlawed that.
Yeah, they have the move banned, which is why I knew that wasn't going to happen.
Yet every once in a while he'll set it up and make you think he's going to do it.
Yeah. They do the same thing with Samoa Joe.
And the Muscle Buster.
The Muscle Buster.
But he's actually used that lately.
No, but he's gotten him up for it, but he hasn't.
Oh, that's right. He got him up for it, but he didn't land it.
He hasn't done it since he was in NXT,
and
because
he damage.
It broke Tyson Kidd's neck.
Yeah, that's why Tyson Kidd had to quit.
Yeah, but the weird thing is that he still used it after that in NXT. He just hasn't used it on the main roster.
Well, Vince probably put his foot down and goes, NXT's not my show.
Yeah. Well, there's been no say of that move actually being outlawed, though. So
no, but I think it's strongly discouraged.
Yeah, I think eventually he will actually pull it out.
I think he will. If it's one of those, they'll use it in a dire situation kind of thing.
Yeah, like in a big match.
Yeah.
Which, Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles was a big match.
I would say AJ Styles, or Samoa Joe doesn't really do any other matches but big mini matches.
Yeah. So, Show hits a weak-looking spear on Randy Orton. Which got a "you still got it" chant.
What's he have?
He still has height.
Oh, okay, that's it. He still got the height.
He does indeed still have height.
Yeah, that's true.
Orton, throughout this match, anytime Big Show would hit a move or anything, Orton would roll to the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And Big Show grabs him and pulls him back into the ring. But Orton, with the referee's view obstructed because of how large the Big Show is, rakes the eyes of the Big Show.
Or because the referee knows where to stand.
Yeah, scrambles into the ring, hits a running RKO for the win.
And if you notice, they said out of nowhere on commentary.
No,
and it was like, how is that out of nowhere when I could see it coming from a mile away? Ray Charles could see that coming.
You know, the fascinating thing, though, is that this is the first time Orton has used the RKO since he turned heel.
This is like the first match that's ended in a pinfall since he turned heel, isn't it?
Well, he had the Jeff Hardy match and the...
But did those go bell to bell without disqualification or something?
Yeah, the Hell in a Cell match.
Oh, Hell in a Cell, yeah.
But, you know, it's been the whole thing that he doesn't want to use the move that pops the crowd.
Yeah, because the people want it.
Yeah, but now he finally did use it in this match.
Maybe he'll realize that one move is the only thing he has.
That makes him liked, at least.
Yeah. You know, he doesn't do the around the world anymore. He doesn't go around stomping on your legs and arms like he used to.
He still does a little bit.
He does a little bit, but he used to do like your ankle, your knee, your hip, your arm, your shoulder, your head, and back down the other side.
Yeah.
Now it's like foot, arm, head, done.
Yeah.
It's like he's just cut out all the crap to make it quicker, and to me, it makes it look worse.
So, Orton qualifies for the World Cup. So far, we have Kurt Angle, John Cena, Randy Orton, and Jeff Hardy.
Yep, 3 out of 4 faces.
And all of which from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, still competing.
Yeah.
Although
it's good to note, though, that out of all of them there, I think Orton's the only one that hasn't really gone anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. So we have SmackDown 1000 next week,
which I'm actually excited for because I've been watching every episode since it started.
Yeah. So far announced, we have Evolution will make their return.
Which again, I don't see the point in.
Hopefully this does lead to a return for Batista.
It's going to be like Raw 25, nothing but a nostalgia night.
Yeah, it largely will be,
and I'm okay with that. But don't try and set it up for something in the future.
Undertaker will be there. So
well, he made SmackDown.
Undertaker and Triple H in the same show. I'm sure they'll do some sort of angle there.
Oh yeah.
Edge is set to host an episode of The Cutting Edge. We'll see who interrupts him.
I think it'd be cool if Lita was there with him.
So, who do you think interrupts Edge on The Cutting Edge? Just have a promo.
God, who would?
I have, I think Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega interrupted.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking, okay, nostalgia. Who would come back and interrupt Edge? And
well, Christian
maybe even
could come out. Yeah.
But Dudley's?
Then it could be the Cutting Peep Show.
Cutting Peep Show. The Peep Cutting Show?
And also we have Rey Mysterio making his in-ring return to face off against Shinsuke Nakamura.
Have you heard
with qualifying for the World Cup?
Have you heard anything about his contract? About like if it's part-time, full-time, like Rousey or Lesnar?
I think it's supposed to be full-time.
So more like a Rousey than Lesnar.
Yeah. Because
I mean, I know Rousey's full-time, but she's not every event.
Yeah.
But she's at least on TV most of the weeks.
Yeah. And another fascinating thing is that Shinsuke Nakamura.
What the hell is that?
Shinsuke Nakamura is, if you forgot, the United States champion.
Well, yeah, which you might forget because you haven't seen the title for a while.
And he hasn't had a storyline. Since then.
Well, yeah, he did because he had who was it that just went against him?
Ty Dillinger.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that just ended in Randy Orton beating him up.
Well, I didn't say it was a good storyline.
His storyline is that Randy Orton takes out all his opponents.
Well, his storyline is, let's low blow everybody. And then
So-
Orton's going to come in.
So Rey Mysterio is obviously going to win this match,
Oh, definitely.
which sucks for Nakamura because he already has no momentum and a title.
Yeah.
I don't know where you go with Nakamura from here.
I mean, there's really nowhere to go except maybe bringing in like R-Truth. Somebody who
To
really...
challenge him for the United States
Yeah.
title.
Just because...
That could at least bring some interesting comedy and things like that.
Well,
to
I mean, and I'd like to see Truth win it. Just because...
might as well.
I mean, Nakamura has nothing going for him
No.
right now. He has no momentum.
None.
R-Truth, for the past few weeks, even if he loses his matches, he's got momentum in what he brings to the mic. And
Yeah.
the comedic act, with Carmella.
He'll bring some sort of emotion to the match,
Yeah,
and the people will care about it,
yeah.
which is ultimately the goal.
And I can't remember the last time he held the title,
I don't know.
if ever.
That
I don't remember if he has.
I'm sure he was a tag team champion.
I'm sure he
at
was a
some
tag.
point.
Everybody was a tag champ at some
Yeah.
point. I mean, even little 10-year-old Nicholas.
Yeah. I remember actually his back when he was K-Quick
Oh,
and he teamed with Road Dogg.
wow. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, that was like 2000 era.
Yeah.
It didn't go anywhere.
But, I mean, I'd like to see him do something because he's getting up there, too. He's not
He's
going
in
to be
his
around
40s.
for maybe 5 more years.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see him do something before he goes. You know, he's always been there. He's always had fun. He makes me laugh, but yet he's also good in the ring.
Yeah. Well, we're going to put a close to the show. We've gone well over 2 hours here.
We had well over 2 shows to cover.
Yeah, and a few other things. But, you know, as always, Podbean, Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, all the links for those are in the description. Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere else you can leave reviews. Feel free, helps us grow, helps us
And we'll
reach more people.
give you a shout out on the air with a 5-star review.
Yes. And other than that, it's been a fun time. We'll be back here next week around Thursday, Friday to discuss tomorrow's Raw and SmackDown 1000 and whatever else may be on our minds.
Which I'm sure by then I'll have some more crap, so...
And yeah, I'm sure we both will. But sign us off, Chris.
Well, we will wrestle you later.
Good night, folks.
Did you hear the news? Metro PCS is now Metro by T-Mobile. Now you get new plans with unlimited high-speed data all month long, all on the T-Mobile network. Check out the new Metro by T-Mobile today and discover the smarter way to get unlimited. Metro by T-Mobile. That's genius. During congestion, the fraction of customers using greater than 35 gigs per month may notice reduced speeds, and Metro customers may notice reduced speeds versus some T-Mobile customers. Video streams at 480p. Coverage not available in some areas. See store for details and terms and conditions.